I don't need to go to a restaurant. I took it for granted that I could, and I enjoyed it, but I've found that I can live quite well without it. In fact, we're saving money because I'm not spending money on restaurants, and also I'm eating healthier. So that's the difference between what we want and what we need. See, in Australia, items that we once considered luxuries, for us now have become necessities, like TVs, personal computers, mobile phones, etc. So what the pandemic has done is reminded us of Jesus' words, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his life?" We can be held captive also to a comfortable lifestyle. We know that there are problems with climate change and the environment, but it's kind of hard to get motivated when the problem looks so big and we're living quite comfortably, having all the benefits of living a lifestyle that's actually wrecking the environment. So with the halt to human activity, one of the interesting things about the pandemic is that we've seen the impact on the world. Like cities in China, that people for the first time can actually see the sky because smog was reduced. The lack of air travel has resulted in a certain drop in air pollution. People talked about in Venice, for the first time seeing fish in the water swimming. You know, all of those things are telling us that we are having an impact on the environment. We don't notice it, we ignore it, but ultimately, when we can stop the human activity, we can see that it can come back. But we could be moving towards a tipping point where it won't be able to come back. We can also be held captive to busyness. You know, before the pandemic forced us to stop, we lived very busy lives. I certainly lived a very busy life until suddenly with the pandemic, all my work got cancelled. We have become obsessed with the need to appear busy. In fact, "I'm busy" has become the mantra for our lives. But keeping busy is one sure way of avoiding listening. Frantic busyness can be a wonderful hiding place. Lockdown has forced us to face ourselves in the stillness and ask, who am I apart from the busyness? You see, if you stay busy for long enough, you might never have time to listen to other people's stories. You might never have time to take a closer look at the things and the people you would rather not see, like perhaps those who are bound by the chains of illness or old age. You might never have time to face situations you would rather avoid or answer questions you would rather forget. And we are also bound to this life. I mean, faced with COVID-19 and the possibility of infection and even death, how confident are we of our faith? I mean, as Christians, we're supposed to believe that death is not the end, but suddenly when death becomes all too real, you know, does it affect our feeling of confidence, or are we suddenly bound by fear? What are the things that really matter when faced with our own mortality or of those we love? See, facing these hard and painful questions, we can we actually go back to what was normal before? There's a story that I'd like to share with you. It goes like this, that there was this present-day Jewish landowner in Israel. And one day he comes running into the house and he calls out to his wife, "Rebecca, Rebecca!" And she hears his frantic voice, so she rushes down and says, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" He says, "Rebecca, I've heard terrible news. It's spreading like wildfire through the village. The Messiah has come." And she picks up what he's just said and she says to him, "Why is that terrible news?" And he says, "Oh, Rebecca, it's taken us so many years to finally get to the state that we're in. We're comfortable. Our orchards are full of trees, full of fruit. The harvest has been collected. Our silos are full of grain. We're set up. We have a comfortable life. What if the Messiah comes along and says that I have to give it all away and follow him? And Rebecca says to him, my dear, you just have to have faith. We Jews have dealt with many problems through our lives. We experienced the oppression of being slaves in Egypt. We experienced exile with the Babylonians. We experienced being dominated by the Romans. We experienced being pushed into ghettos by the Christians. We experienced the vengeance of the Arab world. And we've survived it all, dear. Look, you just have to have faith. When the Messiah comes, we'll deal with him as well. Once more, you might like to chat to the person next to you about what you've heard.